My name is Harper Lane, and 3 days before my sister's wedding, the wedding I paid for, designed and built from scratch, I got a text that shattered 10 years of sisterhood in 9 quiet words. Harper, please don't come to the wedding. It's better for the family. I stared at the message, waiting for it to rearrange itself into something less cruel. Something that made sense. But before I could type a single word, another notification popped up. Lane Miles' Dream Day. You've been removed from the group chat I created, for the wedding I funded, for the sister I thought I understood. I opened the chat list again just to make sure my eyes weren't lying. It was gone. Every message, every file, every design board I'd spent months building erased from my phone like I'd never been part of any of it. My chest tightened, but I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even move for a moment. Instead, I scrolled up to Juliet's text and read it again. Slowly. Better for the family. As if I were the problem. As if I hadn't sacrificed nights, weekends, and $75,000 to create her dream day. My phone buzzed once more. A message from Mom, sweetheart. Let's not make a scene. Just sit this one out. Sit this one out. My own sister's wedding. A strange calm washed over me. A cold, steady clarity I hadn't felt in years. Because Juliet and Mom might have forgotten something in their rush to erase me. Every contract, every deposit, every vendor, every legal signature was under my name. And if I wasn't welcome at this wedding, then neither was the wedding itself. When I woke the next morning, the text was still there. I kept checking my phone, half expecting Juliet to say it was a mistake or a joke. But nothing changed. No apology, no explanation. Just silence filling the apartment. Work should have distracted me, but all I saw were vendor timelines, floral mock-ups, lighting charts, pieces of a wedding I'd dedicated months to. A wedding I wasn't welcome at. I leaned back and let the truth settle. I'd built this wedding the way I always build events, as if perfect details could hold a family together. I should have known better. Months earlier, Juliet called me sobbing about how overwhelmed she was. I stepped in without thinking. I was the older sister, the one who always handled things. She wanted a garden ceremony with soft lights and white roses. She worried about costs, so I said the words I'd regret. I'll cover the deposits. At first, it was beautiful. We toured venues. I filmed her dress try-ons. She told everyone Harper's basically my planner, bridesmaid, and emotional support human. But slowly the shift began. Mom went to appointments without me. Juliet started talking about Vivian's vision as if her future mother-in-law was the architect of the wedding. More group chats appeared, and I was added to fewer each week. Decisions were made without me and delivered like orders. I told myself it was stress, that Juliet loved me, that I was imagining it. But then came the dress fitting. I wasn't invited to a childhood promise broken. She sent one blurry mirror selfie with a caption that sliced cleanly. Mom says this fits the aesthetic better. That was the moment I knew I wasn't part of this anymore. And yet the bills, the invoices, the contracts, every piece of it still depended on me. By Friday, the shift was undeniable. I wasn't imagining it. I wasn't being dramatic. I was being pushed out quietly, deliberately, one decision at a time. It started with an email from the florist. Hi, Harper. We received new direction for the bouquets from Juliet's team. Should we replace your contact with Vivian Miles going forward? Juliet's team. Vivian. Replace me. I stared at the screen, pulse pounding. I'd found that florist. I'd paid the deposit. I'd sat through the mock-ups while Juliet giggled on FaceTime. I typed a reply, deleted it. Typed again, deleted it. Every version sounded like begging, and I refused to beg for a role I already earned. That afternoon, Mom called cold and businesslike. Harper, you need to step back. This wedding has a certain refinement Juliet and Vivian understand better. You can help later with the small tasks. Small tasks. After months of handling everything. She sighed. You're too sensitive. It's not always about you. The irony stung. That night, Juliet posted a reel revealing a brand new color palette, one I'd never seen. The caption read, "Loving the new aesthetic." Thank you, Vivian, for guiding us. Guiding us. As if I'd never been part of anything. Zoe called instantly. Harper, they're icing you out. I know, I whispered. I just don't understand why. But somewhere deep down, I did. Juliet loved being supported by me. She didn't love needing me. There's a difference. 3 days before the wedding, I went to bed with a pressure in my chest like a storm building. I didn't know the storm would hit the next morning in the form of a 9-word text that changed everything. The text arrived at 7:12 a.m. I had just poured my coffee, trying to pretend the past few weeks would somehow settle. Then my phone buzzed. Juliet Harper. Please don't come to the wedding. It's better for the family. I froze so completely the mug nearly slipped from my hand. 9 soft, polite words like being stabbed with a smile. I opened the thread, waiting for anything. A correction. A reason. A second message. Nothing. My coffee went cold. The screen dimmed. Then another buzz, but not a text. A notification. You have been removed from the group. Lane Miles Dream Day. The wedding chat. The vendor thread. The planning board. Everything I had built. I checked WhatsApp again. The entire chat was gone, as if I had never been part of it. My breath went thin. I set the mug down and walked to the living room, needing space to absorb the blow. Then another text, this time from Mom. Sweetheart, don't make this bigger. Just sit this one out. It will keep the peace. Keep the peace. As if I were the problem. As if I hadn't spent months and $75,000 bringing this wedding to life. No anger yet. Just icy clarity. They didn't want me. Not as the planner. Not as the sister. Not even as a guest. Zoe called, but I couldn't answer. The truth was settling inside me like shattered glass. And then logic cut through the hurt. Every contract, every invoice, every vendor, every deposit. All of it was under my name. If I was no longer part of the wedding, then the wedding no longer had to exist. I didn't make a move right away. I sat on my couch, knees pulled up, staring at my laptop as if the answers might rise through the screen on their own. The betrayal was loud, but beneath it was something quieter, something steadier. Power. Not the dramatic kind, not the vengeful kind. The factual, legal, in-my-name kind. My phone buzzed again. Zoe. This time I picked up. She didn't even say hello. Harper. I saw the post. I saw the missing group chat. What happened? I swallowed. They uninvited me. Silence. Then a sharp inhale. From the wedding you paid for. Apparently it's better for the family. Zoe cursed under her breath. Okay, listen to me. You need to check something. Right now. Who is the legal signee on the vendor contracts? I know who it is, I said quietly. Harper, she pressed. Say it. Me. Another silence, this one heavier, more electric. Zoe exhaled, voice low and steady. Then you know what that means. I did. I really, really did. I opened my email. The subject lines read like a timeline of my generosity venue confirmation. Harper Lane catering contract. Harper Lane floral invoice. Harper Lane DJ and lighting deposit. Harper Lane, dozens of them. Everyone with my name stamped on top. Everyone paid by my card. My mother, Juliet Vivian. They had taken control of the aesthetics, the narrative, the guest list. Everything, but the one thing that mattered most. The authority. They forgot the foundation they were standing on. They forgot it was mine. Zoe's voice softened. Harper, you don't have to do anything out of spite. Just reclaim what's yours. If they don't want you in the wedding, they don't get the wedding. My throat tightened, not out of sadness, but recognition. Recognition of the truth I'd been trying to avoid. I wasn't losing a family. I was finally seeing it clearly. I opened the venue contract, scrolling to the cancellation policy. My hand didn't shake, not even once, because for the first time in weeks, maybe months, maybe years, I wasn't reacting. I was deciding. The cancellation email took me 10 minutes to write 5 of those spent staring at the screen, letting the weight of the moment anchor itself in my chest. Not guilt, not revenge, just clarity. Pure, steady clarity. I drafted the message to the venue first. Hello. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I am canceling the Lane Miles event scheduled for this Saturday. As the signee on the contract, please proceed with termination effective immediately. Harper Lane. Simple, professional, final. My finger hovered for a beat. Then I clicked. Send. It felt like exhaling after holding my breath for years. I forwarded a similar message to the catering company, the florist, the lighting team, the photographer. One by one, I watched the emails leave my outbox like dominoes tipping into place. Within 20 minutes, replies came flooding in. Understood, cancellation processed. We will halt production immediately. Deposit will be retained, as stated in your contract. Done. 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 The wedding wasn't collapsing. It was dissolving quietly, legally, like fog under sunlight. Around noon, my phone began to vibrate uncontrollably. 23 missed calls. Juliet, Mom, even Vivian. I set the phone face down. I wasn't ready to hear their voices just yet, not until the consequences reached them on their own. And they did. Around 3 p.m., Juliet finally texted. Harper, what did you do? The venue is closed. They said you canceled. Then another. Tell me this is a mistake. Harper, answer me, now. My pulse didn't spike. My hands didn't shake. I sat on the edge of my bed, calm, in a way I hadn't felt since childhood. Another call came, then another. By the 6th, I finally answered. Juliet's voice burst through the speaker, high, frantic cracking. Harper, everything is gone. The flowers, the catering. Mom is freaking out. Vivian is screaming. What did you do? I kept my voice even. I canceled the wedding. Why? You uninvited me. That was just Harper. You can't ruin my life over a misunderstanding. I almost laughed at the word misunderstanding. But I didn't. Instead, I said the one sentence that had crystallized in my mind since dawn. If I'm not welcome at your wedding, my money isn't either. For the first time ever, Juliet had no response. Only ragged breathing on the other end. And I realized the power she was feeling for the first time was the absence of mine. Juliet showed up less than an hour later. No warning, just pounding on my door like she could force her way back into control. I opened it only a crack. Her makeup was smeared hair falling from its pins. She didn't look like the family's golden girl. She looked frantic and cornered. Harper, she gasped. Please, please undo this. We can fix it. Just call them back. I stepped into the doorway, blocking her. You didn't want me there. Remember. That text wasn't what you think Mom said. Vivian said you were stressed, and it would cause drama if you came. I let silence answer for me. Juliet's voice shook. Harper, I need you. The wedding is falling apart. The wedding you removed me from, I said. She winced. I didn't mean Harper, everything's a mess. Brandon's family is furious, Mom's crying, Vivian's threatening to cancel. Please, just call the venue. I looked at her not as my sister, but as someone who made choices and expected me to clean them up. Juliet, you erased me. My work. My effort. My money. And you never told me why. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I was scared. Of what? That you'd outshine me, she whispered. The honesty hit harder than anything else. She trembled. Vivian made everything look perfect, and if you were there, you'd see how much I was failing. You always make things look easy. I swallowed. The old me would have hugged her fixed. Everything rebuilt the wedding overnight. But I finally understood. You don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else's event warm. I'm sorry you feel that way, I said. But I won't fix this. Her lips shook. So, that's it. You're just done with me? No, I said softly. I'm done being used. Juliet stared like she didn't know who I was. Maybe she didn't. Maybe for the first time she was finally seeing me. Juliet left my doorway in silence. Not dramatic, not angry, just hollow like a chapter closing. I watched her shaky walk down the hall and felt a flicker of guilt. But then I remembered the months I'd poured my heart and my savings into a wedding that never saw me as part of it. The guilt faded, clarity stayed. The next morning, Mom sent a flood of messages. Think about your sister. You're being cruel. We didn't expect you to take it this far. But I hadn't taken anything anywhere. I'd simply stepped back, and without me the whole event collapsed. A week later, life settled into an odd, peaceful rhythm. Juliet and Brandon postponed the wedding indefinitely. Vivian was, according to family gossip, mortified and pushing them to elope quietly. Mom stopped with the desperate texts and shifted to passive-aggressive Bible verses about forgiveness. Classic. I went back to work, designing events for people who valued my time and vision. And for the first time in years, I invested in my own ideas. Small showcases, creative installations, things that belonged to me, not to my role in the family. One night, while I sketched for a new client, Zoe glanced over and smiled. You're lighter. I feel lighter, I said, because losing their approval didn't break me. Losing myself to keep it almost did. A few weeks later, Juliet sent a long message, not asking for money or help, just admitting what she did. I didn't respond right away. Healing isn't urgent, but I saved it because she finally saw me. Real revenge isn't dramatic. It's a boundary sharp enough to reset the entire relationship, and mine did. In the quiet that followed, I realized I didn't ruin Juliet's wedding. I just stopped being the foundation they built it on. Without me, there was never a wedding at all.